Hi, I'm Laura Hoffman. This is regarding the dismissal of Teresa Toro as transportation chair. First of all, I'd like to say that I appreciate the time that the community board members dedicate to this community. But that being said, you need to realize that your dedication does not mean that you are infallible. I'd like to remind BK CB1 members that you represent the entire community. You have an obligation to properly present community process with every official note, memo, or letter that leaves the CB1 office. The CB has no right to send out an official letter regarding specific solutions to the Kent Avenue Greenway problem without proper community and community board process. My husband and I are non-board members of several CB1 committees, and we are personally offended that the CB1 so easily dismissed the process of its committee and community members in a hurry to respond to political pressure. Ms. Toro told the truth, represented the actual work of her committee, and defended actual community process and position. For that, she has been removed as transportation chair. It's an outrage. I find it insulting to the community's intelligence for the board to claim that Ms. Toro's actions are detrimental to the board when the fact is that she has brought nothing but dignity to CB1. She is one of the few board members that actually informs us about what's going on at CB1. During the Greenpoint Williamsburg rezoning, the community board rezoning task force did not have a transportation subcommittee, or for that matter, a transportation committee that showed up regularly. Ms. Toro went out of her way to form email lists and create tools to collect comments from the community. That is what allowed her to form a wonderful community-fed response during the rezoning process. I am very grateful to Ms. Toro for her years of dedicated service to the community, and I am grateful that she did the right thing and expected proper community process.
Next speaker.
Good evening. My name is Rolf Carl, and I stand here tonight in support of someone very dear to me, someone I cherish, Teresa Toro, the recently dismissed chairperson of this board's Transportation Committee. Teresa and I share many things. One of them is living in this community. We met 7 years ago while fighting the Transgas power plant, and since then have been involved in countless community issues. I'm going to speak fast, I got 2 minutes. For tonight, I've put together a timeline of events leading to Teresa's dismissal. But first, I would like to describe to you how Teresa was dismissed. On the day before Christmas Eve at our home, Teresa received a phone call from Chairman Abate. When she got off the phone, she looked at me and said, "I've just been removed as chair from the Transportation Committee." When I asked her for what reason, she said the chairman gave none and only said that it was his prerogative to do so. This moment describes the cloud that hung over our holiday season. It wasn't until 2 weeks later, on January 7th, that the chairman released a statement vaguely outlining the reason, and not until yesterday did the executive board release its minutes from the December 23rd executive board meeting with documents to support their decision. My timeline challenges the executive board's version and begins with a correction of their minutes, and I hope everyone looks at it. Tomorrow we'll pass out a timeline to each board member that likes one, and I'll continue. My timeline challenges the executive board's version and begins with a correction of obvious mistakes in their minutes. I printed 50 copies. I am forced to give a shortened version because I only have 2 minutes to speak. So I'll speak very quickly. My version begins with a letter from Council Member David Yaski. May I continue, sir?
Next speaker.
May I continue?
I've got about 50 people.
I would like to continue.
I cannot make you do that.
Okay.
The law applies to
Please,
everybody.
please read the document I've spread out. I have extras for the press and also for the public. And thank you very much for listening to me. I apologize to the board. And, okay.
My name is Tim Gamble. I promise to say in my 2 minutes. I would here to speak in support of bike lane on Kent Avenue. I'm an avid bicyclist. I commute to and from work every day by bicycle. And I've been doing that every day for 5 years, and on and off for 10 years. I currently live in Greenpoint and often go down Kent Avenue. It's the best way to kind of make a big north to south transition in Brooklyn, get down near the Brooklyn Bridge in Lower Brooklyn or get over into Manhattan. Bike lanes are a vast improvement when riding a bike in terms of safety. It's a huge difference now that the bike lane is there on Kent Avenue. I've noticed a tremendous improvement in safety and comfort when I ride back and forth on that street. One of the problems with that street, why it's so important to have a lane, is that the cars go quite quickly up and down, back and forth down the street. And it's really unnerving to be riding your bike with cars parked along in between the parked cars and the speeding cars on the road. I mean, people go 40, 50 miles an hour down that street. The bike lane has a lot of protection. Cars see the bike lane, the painted lines, and kind of give you a lot more room, and you've got a lot more room. The street's pretty wide, but when the lane is there and there's no parking, it's much wider and it's much safer. More and more people riding their bike every day, and you know, let's do it. I just want it to be safe for everybody, and again, to say that it's been a huge improvement for myself. I've noticed the safety improvement for sure, and you know, I hope that they'll keep the lane and keep.
Thank you. We have to represent.
Hi there, I'm Teresa Europe, and as a former member of this board and as someone who's worked closely with Teresa Toro on many committees and on many issues, I'm here tonight to say that removing Teresa Toro as chair of the Transportation Committee is a huge mistake. My experience on this board, there's never been a committee chair, including myself, who has worked as hard as her to solicit community participation into the community board process. As a chair of the Transportation Committee, Teresa has worked tirelessly to promote transparency and open dialogue between all the members of this community. Despite her personal opinions, she's never positioned herself as an expert. Instead, as a chair who takes her charge very seriously, she has always reached out to seek community input and knowledge on any given issue. For her, it's never been about one means of transportation versus another. It's always been about community consensus. Have we all forgotten about how hard she worked to create more parking spaces by identifying and updating obsolete parking regulations around rezoned buildings? For Teresa, it's always about what is best for this community, and I can honestly say that's a shame to remove her as chair, who works as hard as her to be true to this democratic process. I saw and read her statements over the past few weeks, and I disagree with the assertion that she made remarks that were disparaging of board members. In fact, I read the opposite. Her remarks defend this board and its process. Plus, if you know Teresa, you know that she has nothing but respect for her fellow board members and all who volunteer their time to this community. As any seasoned community activist will remind you, when serving the public, you need thick skin. You can't take everything personally because there will always be one person who isn't happy with the consensus. However, despite the long and sometimes unthankful hours, it has to be about what is best for the entire community, and I know Teresa has always served this community by that creed. There is no way to reward her passionate years of service, and I strongly urge you to reconsider, because nothing she wrote or said is as detrimental to this board and this community as removing her as chair.